Welcome. This lecture is on the Lebanese Civil War. Many viewed Lebanon as a beautiful, relatively stable nation in the Arab world. This changed in 1975. An important player in the Lebanese Civil War was the Palestinian Liberation Organization, created in 1964. The PLO increasingly used Jordan as a staging area to attack Israel, but the PLO and leader Yasser Arafat became a threat to Jordan's King Hussein. In 1971, King Hussein drove the last of the Palestinian guerrillas out of Jordan. The PLO relocated to Lebanese strongholds in Beirut and South Lebanon to launch raids on Israel. Lebanon consisted of conflicting groups: the Maronite Christians, the Sunni Muslims, Shiite Muslims, and Druze. Lebanese Christians lost patience with the state within a state operations of the PLO, and they wanted the Lebanese army to expel the PLO. Lebanese Muslim leaders, however, began to see the PLO as their biggest private militia. The Maronite Christians were forced to turn to their own private armies, the Phalangists and Tiger militias, to confront the Palestinians. Civil war broke out in 1975 when gunmen riding in a speeding car opened fire on a church in Christian East Beirut, and when Phalangists killed Palestinian civilians in revenge. In addition to Christians and Muslims, other factions in the conflict included the Druze, the Lebanese Communist Party, and the Syrian Socialist Nationalist Party. The PLO and Lebanese Muslim militias took control of South Lebanon and West Beirut. The Maronite Christians and allies controlled East Beirut and the Mount Lebanon region. And the Syrians controlled the northern port area of Tripoli and the Bekaa Valley. The Syrians nominally supported the PLO, but they did not relish the idea of a PLO-dominated Lebanon. There was the fear that the Palestinians might goad the Israelis into a war that the Syrians did not want to fight. In 1976, the Syrians did send their army to Lebanon. Lebanon became a madhouse. In 1975 and 1976, the Civil War claimed the lives of 60,000 Lebanese. Year after year, PLO assaults on northern Israel continued. The Israelis responded with short and longer-term engagements into Lebanon. In early June 1982, the Israeli invasion of Lebanon, called Peace for Galilee, commenced. The Israeli invasion was a military success. They pushed northward to the outskirts of Beirut, scoring victories against Syrian and Palestinian troops and destroying the Syrian Air Force. The American government diplomatically worked on an agreement between Israel and the Palestinians. Israel would end its military offensive in Lebanon, and Palestinians would be allowed to depart Lebanon and go elsewhere. But finding Arab countries prepared to welcome the Palestinians was not easy. Arab governments did not trust the PLO, and for all their pro-Palestinian rhetoric, worried more about a potential PLO threat to them than about the fate of the besieged PLO. Eventually, a few radical Arab nations agreed to accept the PLO. On September 14, 1982, the Syrians assassinated Bashir Gamal, the pro-Israel Christian president-elect of Lebanon. This was a blow to Lebanese Christians and to the Israelis who hoped to negotiate a peace treaty with Lebanon. 2 days after the assassination, a terrible event unfolded at the Palestinian refugee camps at Sabra and Shatila. Believing that the camps contained Palestinian fighters, the Israeli army surrounded but did not enter the camps. However, the Phalangists did. The Phalangists wanted to avenge not only Bashir's death, but also past tribal killings of their own people by Palestinian fighters. The result was the massacre of unarmed civilians by the Phalangists. The International Committee of the Red Cross provided the only independent official death toll of 210 dead. Later in the year, Arafat proclaimed, "We lost 5,000 in Sabra and Shatila, and we are ready to lose 50,000 before we liberate our homeland," end of quote. The Israeli government held an inquiry and found the Israeli military innocent of actual participation, but held that the military leaders should have anticipated the violent actions by the Phalangists. Once a relatively stable nation with evidence of democracy and economic development, Lebanon experienced much death and destruction. In the years that followed, the extreme group Hezbollah, supported by Iran, launched numerous rockets at Israel from Lebanon. Israel could not escape the violence inflicted on them from the north. Thank you.